Hey friends, welcome back to Moving with Meaning. I'm your host, Krystal. Now, before we get started into this episode today, I want to make sure we give that shout out to that alma mater and remind you to throw yours out there. Okay, can't wait to see them. Now, you've landed in the final episode of our August Back to You series. And over the past few weeks, we've talked about mindful re-entry, how to slide back into structure without losing peace and clarity that rest has gifted to you. And today, we're going to close this chapter with one of my personal faves, centering yourself before the world pulls you in. Now, here we're going to be a little honest, a little bit real, right? If you don't start your week anchored in your vision, well, life will happily hand you one that is not yours. We're calling this episode Homeroom for the Soul. Now, it's where you choose your pace before the world chooses it for you. It's your morning command center, the place where you prepare not just to survive the day, but own it. Now, here's what we're going to be diving in this episode. Weekly soul check-in, a dedicated moment to realign with what matters before the week takes over. Reflection rituals, simple practices to gain clarity, confidence, and perspective. And emotional clarity first. Setting your mindset before your calendar sets it for you. Boy, that's some real talking right there. And those are some heavy objectives, but I think it's great to kind of bring this entire series full circle and add all of those strategies together that we've reviewed in the past and really aim of the game is to kind of just reset us every day, every week. Okay? Just pulling out these little milestones and pause moments to really make sure that we're owning the day and not really allowing anyone else or the situation to move us away from that. Okay. Now, here's a quick summary of today's focus. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this episode. Centering yourself before the world pulls you in is a competitive advantage for leaders because it creates the conditions for clear, values-driven decision-making. When you take time to anchor yourself emotionally and mentally, you respond instead of react. Maintain perspective under pressure and set the tone for your team. This isn't about checking out, it's about tuning in. So your leadership is guided by intention rather than distraction. By starting from a grounded place, you safeguard your capacity for empathy, creativity, and strategic thinking, which are the hallmarks of sustainable influence. You know what? I want to do this. Let's add to that. It's also about a burnout prevention plan. And honestly, it's like your best insurance policy against living someone else's agenda. We've been there, right? So in my world, starting from the inside out isn't optional. It's literally my brand. It's the mission and it's the heartbeat. Okay. If you lead, create, or serve from a grounded place, everything else gets sharper, braver, and a whole lot lighter, right? And I really love the ad that we added there, which was the competitive advantage, a leadership strategy, a leadership advantage, whatever the case you want it to be. But this truly does set you apart and set you up for success. Right? And I really want you to think of centering yourself like homeroom in school. You remember those? You're not solving calculus yet. You're just checking in, taking attendance, and making sure you've got your lunch packed before the day really starts. It's the reset before the rush. And sometimes I might be talking about homeroom here, but for me, when I was going into the office, this was the drive in. This is all the drive in that I did. It was literally my moment of clarity where I was just getting myself together, right? So let's do this. Enough with the pep talk. Let's talk about what's in it for you. Those benefits. So number one, better decisions and faster. When you're centered, you're not reacting, you're responding with intention. And I think we go over this quite a bit, right? Very often where we're talking about responding versus reacting. And the reacting piece it's almost your defense mechanism. It's instinctual. And sometimes we get to these moments where we just, definitely we just do not pause, right? And for me, a lot of times I don't know. I kind of have an awkward pause, but someone will say something to me, and I kind of go, like, it's like a micro um, shift in my face a little bit, kind of like, okay, hold on, give me a second, and then I even sometimes I may say, give me a second, I need to digest that for a second, or whatever. Like, you don't always have to have the snappy comebacks. You don't do that. Okay, this is not grade school, and we're not trying to get petty, if you know what I mean. Okay, and at the end of the day, it's your response. You really want it to be what you want this end result to be, whether it's ending this conversation, or whether it's trying to move to the next piece, or trying to be collaborative, or whatever. That is what your response should be, with professionalism, class, right? Maturity. I mean, we looking for that in today's world, in the adult world, at work. Maturity ain't there. But think about that. All right. Second benefit is increased resilience. You're less likely to crumble when life throws you a curveball. Yeah, that's true. You're going to get them all day, professionally and personally, all day, all day. And sometimes they hit you. I mean, I'm telling you, like, if it's a Monday, everything that could honestly go wrong will happen on a Monday. I don't know why it is. And I'm looking at this like, I have the rest of this week to 4 more days to deal with this. And if I was to allow that same attitude to carry throughout the week, I would never be productive. I would never rebound and finish the week stronger than how I started it. And it always does. But it's hard on that Monday. It's hard to be feeling all those things at once. So just be incredibly resilient. Find your happy place and your outlet, okay? And encourage the venting, the journaling, and things of that nature, just to get things out. We don't want them to keep in, and that's that's truly is the key to being more emotionally and professionally resilient. And the last benefit is energy that lasts. Starting centered means you can sustain your focus and momentum without constant emotional reboots. Yep, and that's true. So when you get really good at all these things that I'm telling you, right, you start to get comfortable. It becomes habit, and you've made it part of a practice, to the point where even when someone does say something that takes you off, or that they're trying to do a backhanded insult or a backhanded compliment or whatever, you're kind of like, okay, I recognize that, I'm going to respond this way, right? Because it just don't give your time and attention to those negative attitudes, right? Because they're wanting you to react. And I guarantee you, I was doing that, and then I got to a point where I stopped. And this, recently, right? This is all happening real time that I'm telling you about. I will tell you if it's like years ago, but I'm telling you real time. And I think I just stopped having it really offend me. I stopped looking crazy, like doing these moments. I stopped doing that because I started expecting that behavior from them. And I knew that would happen. So I went in expecting that this is what the attitude is going to be, knowing that my responses were going to be very short, very curt. Not that I disagreed, but it was like anytime I added anything to it, it was just a criticism, and it was me, not what I was saying, was me. And I knew where I stood in those person's eyes, and I knew that in this moment, it's just 30 minutes out of my life. I'm not making it any longer than what it's got to be. When I started doing that, things got better, and they still are it's a work in progress, but it took me a little bit of time to get there. Okay, so work on it. Now, how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's move from this all sounds great to I can actually do this. So we're going from running board meetings or just trying to survive the Monday carpool. Oh my goodness. All blessings to the carpoolers out there, okay, with all them children and the conversations that go on. Some of them are funny and things like that, but sometimes you just ain't got time for it that day. So get your coffee, get whatever meal deal you need to get through that, and let's get on into this. So I have two types of examples for both professional and personal today. So we're gonna go with professional scenario. I don't know. I need to switch those because I always keep saying personal first. So we might see a switch of that. But we're gonna start with professional scenario. We're gonna go with number one. A project lead begins every Monday with a 15-minute reflection before opening email, resulting in fewer fire drills and more proactive work. Yeah, I think if you take a moment, like I used to wake up and then just hit to the keys, and I'm like, no, that's not good. We're not going to do that, because I see an email and I'm just all of a sudden I'm firing out responses that I'm like, whoa, if I'd have just took a moment to just gather myself, I'd have read that differently and I would have responded incredibly differently, right? So when I go into the office, sometimes I will boot up my computer, my laptop, and whatever else, and then I go into the break room, get my whatever tea, whatever it is I'm doing there, and chill a little bit, speak to a couple people, and move on. So whatever your morning routine is, 15 minutes, it ain't gonna kill your day. It's not, okay? But it will make your day. Professional scenario number 2. A team manager schedules their one-on-ones after a short midday meditation, making their feedback sharper and kinder. Yeah, I agree with this. Like before, a lot of people don't look forward to like giving feedback, because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want any combative. I don't want it to be contention. How do I bring this forth so that it feels like constructive, right? That it's a negative, but how are we going to work towards a positive piece of that? And so I encourage a lot of people to not only get in the right mindset for this, but to also think about your approach and your perspective and who you're dealing with and who you're speaking with, because different people require different approaches. And so just really, and then this goes into really developing that kind of relationship with each one of your employees or the team that you're working with, your manager, even that. It goes a long way so that you can develop this kind of dialogue a little bit better. All right. But definitely, pep talk is definitely encouraged here. All right. Personal scenario number 1. A parent uses Sunday evenings to check in with their own goals before planning the family calendar, so their needs aren't last on the list. Amen. I'm not gonna lie to you, and this is like, I said a parent. I don't know dads or whatever, but I know with moms, when I'm getting kids ready, I'm getting things up, doing things like that, I am literally the last person on that list to get dressed and things like that. And so I get the least amount of attention, all those things. I mean, it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel by the time I get to myself. What I started doing now on Sunday, it's not even evenings, it's Sunday, right? So like I said, I'm changing how I eat. So I'm eating clean. And part of doing that is I have to prep my meals for the week. And so I will use Sunday all day prioritizing my meal prep, because this is something that's important to me and my children. As I'm working with them, I'm saying, oh, go prepare this, go show this, or I'm having conversations while we're in there, and it's been working. Who would have thought that if you put yourself first, everyone around you will literally find a way to respect that, and you will find a way to keep progress and improve responsibility with your kids. Do it. All right. Whatever it is. Mine is, I'm saying Sunday evening, but you do, I'm telling you, I do Sundays, the whole day. All right. Personal scenario number 2, an entrepreneur takes a 10-minute walk every morning before looking at their phone to set the day's emotional tone. And this is actually really good. I'm not going to lie on this one, right? We're not going to get down on the phone thing, because a lot of people, so I have different coaches that I see out there that says, like, before you start your money, don't look at your phone, because you're starting the emotional tone with comparisons or whatever. Listen, if someone is motivating you and they're a great motivator, listen to them, right? Or use a daily app. Some people have different folks where they're doing daily affirmations, or someone is saying something, because those people are putting a message out there in the world for you to listen to, not to compare to what they do. They're saying, today, it's on my mind and my spirit to tell you that you're worth it. It's on my mind to tell you that your challenges may be just for this moment and time, but it's your season of growth. Take into that and draw all the, whatever it is that they're saying, right? All that kind of stuff. That's very important. And they're sending that message not onto you, but they're taking it in for themselves, because it's like, this is what I needed to hear today. I'm going to send it out to somebody else, because I know somebody else got to hear this. So think about that, right? It's just take a 10-minute walk and do whatever you can during that 10-minute walk. Yeah, I agree. Don't look at the phone if you don't have to, unless you have someone there that is a motivating or inspirational spirit guide, or whatever it is you want to call it. Okay. But at the end of the day, yeah, for sure, just kind of decompress a little bit. And if the phone thing is something that causes you anxiety, put that bad boy to the side. Like I said, 10-15 minutes will not kill your day, but it will make it. All right. Now, we've painted a picture of what centering yourself can look like until real life starts tapping you on the shoulder repeatedly. Now, we know that, okay? So, between the calendar chaos and the constant just one quick thing requests, even the best intentions can get bulldozed. Let's dig into what actually trips us up when we try to protect our center. And yep, right, these are the different challenges and the frustrations that we get that can seriously knock us off balance, right? And when I say that, just that one quick thing, yeah, maybe I'm in the break room, right, and my manager walks in that morning, and I've had this happen where they walk in the morning and they're like, hey, I need to ask you about something they want to talk about. I said, yeah, sure. As soon as I get to my desk, give me a minute here, right? You can create that space, right? Just because they're your boss or manager and because they're trying to encroach on your time does not mean you don't, there's a respectful way to kind of say, oh, hold on, just give me a minute, right? And I will get right back to you. I just don't have the time right now. Or whatever else. Okay. But you don't have to say it that way, but it's just, that I just don't have time right now is in your head, but it's just, you find a way to really create that space and that boundary. Okay. Because that one quick thing that turns into 30, 40, 1 hour meetings. I've had it happen a lot. All right. So, okay. So we're going to go into these frustrations and get on with this. Number one, life's loudness. Your world starts talking before you've even had coffee. Dang, I didn't even realize that. That was the example I just gave, right? So we're going to keep moving on this one. But yeah, really, just a quick touch point on that. If someone like the fire drills or whatever else, these things happen, right? Because this is the business that we are in, and this is technology and devices, right? Not only that, some people get sick and they're not there to do something that they said they were going to do, and everyone's freaking out. Yeah, you can still have your coffee and chill for a second. Like it can be possible for that. All right. But yeah, that's why it's get frustrated, because it's like quick to go, oh shoot, let me go right now. We know that. We know that, and it does happen. Okay. So just be mindful of that. All right. And make sure that you're also mindful of your responsibility to yourself. Okay. Number two, frustration, guilt complex. Feeling selfish for putting yourself first. This was me. I was doing this too, because I just felt guilty. I felt guilty, for example, like let's say I put myself first and I look really good. Like I did my hair, I got my fit together, everything looks good. And then we're going to walk out the house and my son's hair is not brushed, or my daughter's hair is not combed or put together. They're having mismatched, like stuff like that. I was so freaked out that if I put myself first, that would happen. And I'm like, Krystal, no, it won't. Like I would never let myself take my kids out like that. And two, they would probably never let me do that. Okay, so no, that just wouldn't happen, and that's just my personal example of what was going on with me. What's yours? Put a name and explain that to yourself, and then kind of go and be like, would I really do that though? Even though I'm freaked out about that, okay, let's try and do this. Let's put myself first and see what happens. Because some people I've never even tried until I did try, and I was like, wow, this works. So. Get rid of those limiting beliefs. They're doubts that were never founded in reality in the first place. Okay? Last frustration we got with this is calendar creep. You say yes too much and forget to leave breathing space. Now here's the one. I want to tell you something about this. Okay, this say yes trap or what have you. I say this a lot of, you only are responsible for what you say yes to. But the truth is this, okay? Once we start saying no to other people and we're saying, okay, I'm, whatever, we got to start learning to say no to ourselves. So in my opinion, it's like I have so many projects and I'm so creative at this moment that I'll start this project before I already finish another one. And next thing you know, I'm overwhelmed because I said yes to something else that could have waited when I had the capacity, the breathing space. And sometimes when I finish a project, I immediately go straight to the next one. I don't even give myself time to just kind of be like, celebrate the accomplishments, celebrate the milestone. No, I mean, move. So you got to be able to say no to yourself as well, and just prioritize items that you come on your list. There, I know they always say, what's the best time to do it like that? That's a sales pitch, okay? Because every time and everything happens when it's supposed to happen. All right, everything's aligned. Let's just celebrate the fact that you had the idea and write it down on the list so you don't forget it. That right there is the accomplishment in itself, and move on. Okay? So I want to make sure I throw that out there. That's a new one. All right. Now that we've identified the obstacles, it's time to shift from awareness to action because challenges lose their power when you have intentional, repeatable practices that protect your center. So let's walk through 3 strategies you can start using right away. When I say right away, right now, when you listen to this right now, just when we start to put these practices and strategies right now into place. And I really want you to really hone in on what I said. They only have power if you get it to them. That's the only way that they have it. The moment that you start saying, and looking it straight in the eye and say, no, you're not going to stop me today because I'm doing these things. I have my actions because now I'm aware and now I'm going to act on it. It changes everything. The challenges, they're not as hard as they used to be. And the practices that you're putting in, they're not as hard to put in place as much as you thought they were. So let's get into it. All right. Strategy number 1, non-negotiable check-in. Pick one time each week for your soul check-in and guard it like a VIP meeting. Yeah, didn't I tell y'all this? So yeah, non-negotiable check-ins. I don't care when it is, beginning of the day, midday, in the afternoon, or whatever it is, whatever time that is, pick it. Put some time on your calendar. And like I said, it's like your soul check-in, baby. We can get it together, right? And I think it's just important. I know these things sound weird, okay, but they're just not. And it sounds like I don't need that. Yeah, just do. So do it and see if it works, okay, folks? Number 2, anchor before action. Don't touch your phone or inbox until you've done your centering ritual. Yeah, that's very true. So get yourself together, okay? Like I said, we're going to start with not touching the phone or not touching your inbox or reading any emails or anything. Get yourself together, whatever that is, 10, 15 minutes of whatever you're doing. If it's reading a meditation, if it's listening to soft music, if it's getting your coffee, if it's looking at the birds sing or opening whatever it is, okay? Get that together and guard it, okay? But this is your anchoring moment. This is you setting the pace and the tone for your day, not letting somebody else do it for you, okay? When you're grounded in your principle and your purpose, you're not going to allow anyone else to take that from you. Trust. All right. Last strategy, micro moments matter. Even 2 minutes of stillness counts. Don't wait for perfect conditions. I just said that when we started this, didn't I? I said we're going to do this right after. The moment that you hear this, start these practices and you will see, I guarantee you will see a change. You got to put everything you got into it, right? And why shouldn't you? It's for you. Okay. I enjoyed today's episode. There you have it. 3 simple soul-centered strategies to keep you grounded no matter how loud the world gets. The truth is, strategies are only as strong as the heart and intention behind them. See, there you go. Give it everything you got. And that's where we land today, right? Right in the center of you, me, you, whoever it is, okay? Because when you start with soul, every choice, every meeting, every yes and no becomes more than just productive. It becomes purposeful. So we're going to do this. We're going to wrap up with a reminder worth carrying into every week, not just this one. When you start with soul, strategy becomes sacred. You stop chasing validation and start leading from vision. Your influence grows, not because you did more, but because you did what mattered. So this week, before the world pulls you on in, take that wheel. Your calendar can wait, but your purpose, nah, I can't. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. As a reminder, if you want more of me that delve into deeper topics, check out my podcast, Moving with Meaning, the podcast. I'm on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Check out my website, movingwithmeaning.com. Also, if you are interested in my path to emotional resilience, I wrote my business memoir that takes you on my 8-year journey in a tough, competitive environment. You can find it on Amazon by the title, Embrace the Code, Cultivating Emotional Resilience in a Tough IT Culture. Here is my graphic with all of my social media connections. Hit your girl up or just follow along. Maybe something will pop out at you. Also, if you are particularly inspired by any of my conversations or episodes and think this would be a good match for your next event, I'm your gal. I'll put on a speech for you. Or are you interested in converting this into a workshop? I got you covered there. Perhaps this is right in line with your own experience and want to partner with me to add a bit more oxygen to that spark. Hey, I'm your coach. Maybe finding the right words for your own memoir or ebook has you all balled up in knots. I'm the ghostwriter that can put your thoughts and ideas to paper. All right. Now, if any of these strike your interest and you just want to talk opportunities, take the first step and book me completely free using this free QR code. All right. Thank you guys so much. I enjoyed you guys so much today and this episode. This does close out our August Back to You series, and I hope it really made everything come full circle. And I want to hear about the strategies and the practices and how they're working out for you. And if you have any suggestions for any of us out there listening, okay, sharing is caring. Now, I got something else lined up for you beginning for September series, and we'll see what that is. You got to wait till next week. But until then, be blessed and keep moving.